All right, we're going to start today's webinar. Hello, everyone. Welcome back for our third webinar of the year. Today, we're going to be discussing software technology integrations for briefing centers and specialized customer engagements. Thank you all for being here with us today. We appreciate you taking the time. We have an awesome lineup today of industry panelists, as well as our special co-host today that are going to be discussing recommendations on top systems, features, and processes. So before we begin, I'd love to introduce our special co-host as well as our guest speakers. So helping me today, we have Alex Matthews. He was the VP of Customer Experience at BriefingEdge, an industry-leading scheduling system provider. And now with Nexus's acquisition of BriefingEdge, he is now the head of project management, and we are so thrilled to have him here today to lead this webinar and just get to hear his industry knowledge as well as his overall passion for this topic. So Alex, thanks so much for being here today. If you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and saying hello to all of our attendees.
Hey everybody, thanks Allie. I think you pretty much did a good job of the introduction, but I'm Alex Matthews, so I head up the product team at Nexus, and I come from a long time at BriefingEdge working with a lot of different programs to understand tools and technologies and automation, and so I'm really fortunate to be here for this specific topic, and I'm very excited to talk to the panelists about the tools and technologies and ecosystems that they're using at their programs and how they're using these things to facilitate their engagement. So excited to have the discussion.
Great, thanks. And now I'd like to introduce our three panelists. They all come from various industries, so we're really eager to hear their different perspectives and learn what they're doing today. So first we have Bonnie Bryce, who's the Director of CX Strategy and Programs at Dell Technologies. Hello, Bonnie. If you wouldn't mind saying hello and introducing yourself, please.
Hi, yes. Hi, everybody. And thank you for the opportunity to participate today. I feel that we all learn from each other. So these kinds of formats are great to learn from our peers in the industry. I am a 33-year veteran of Dell Technologies from the heritage EMC side and have held positions across the company. My journey with executive briefing programs started in 2011 when I made a shift over to VCE, which was a spinoff of EMC. It was a three-way joint venture. And so I built their program ground up, and we were able to open 4 centers in 4 years. And that was pretty staggering growth. But when I started there, we had no budget and I had no staff, and it was a very small program. Fast forward to 2016 and Dell acquired EMC and VCE, and we merged the programs, and we now have a very large program. So I have experience with the very small program, and then the opposite end of the spectrum with the probably one of the world's largest briefing programs. So it's been a fun journey. Thank you for inviting me, though.
Thank you. All right, and then next we have Lisa Chace, who's the Director of Strategic Marketing at Aetna, which is a CVS health company. Thank you, Lisa, for being here. If you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and letting us know a little bit about you.
Sure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
So 6 years ago, almost to the day, my family and I adopted a 60-pound brown-haired hound rescue dog named Jimmy. He's a people dog. He's empathetic and reliable and authentic and fun. And everybody remembers Jimmy and is always happy to see him. Just like Jimmy, my team strives to create a memorable experience that forms a lasting emotional connection with our hosts and guests in all of our meeting engagements. Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa Chace. I'm the Director of Experiential Solutions and Strategic Engagement at CVS Health, Aetna. I manage the Customer Center in our Hartford, Connecticut corporate office, as well as our virtual and global briefing program. We are a small but mighty team of 9 amazing meeting professionals. Our team sits within corporate marketing of CVS Health and reports up through community affairs, which really gives us a unique lens in the briefing world. We've been an established briefing program and member of ABPM since 1998. I'm excited to be here with you today to share a little bit about what makes our program unique and how we integrate Nexus BriefingEdge into everything we do.
Great, thank you for that introduction.
Also, real quick, Lisa,
yeah.
you're going to have to follow up with some photos of Jimmy. That was a
I will.
teaser. So content to follow, I hope.
Yes, I should have brought a picture.
All right, and next we have Crystal Harris. She is the Executive Briefing Center Specialist at Optiv. Crystal, thank you for being here. If you wouldn't mind saying hello and introducing yourself, I'm sure everybody would love to hear.
Sure. Thank you, Alessandra. Hello, everyone. I am Crystal Harris from Optiv. For those of you that are asking who is Optiv, Optiv Security is the cyber advisory and solutions leader, delivering strategic and technical expertise to nearly 6,000 companies across every major industry. We meet clients where they are to partner on a journey of security and resilience. With our clients at the center of our unmatched ecosystem of people, partners, products, and programs, we accelerate business programs like no other company can. At Optiv, we manage cyber risk so you can secure your full potential. And I am here representing Optiv's Executive Briefing Center program with our locations in Denver, Colorado, which is where I am based. We also have an Executive Briefing Center in Kansas City, Kansas. And since, like all of you, since 2020, we have a virtual program that operates everywhere. So I'm glad to support today's discussion and appreciate the invitation to be here with you all.
Thank you. All right, I appreciate all of you introducing yourself. So we're excited to start the webinar and hear all about your guys' scheduling systems, program management, and all your features. So before I begin, I did want to let everybody know, as always, we are utilizing the chat feature at the bottom of the screen. So if you do have any questions, feel free to type those in there and we'll try to answer all the questions as they come in. If we aren't able to answer them, we will try to shoot you an email with the answer if we can get it for you. So without further ado, I'd like to pass it over to Alex so he can start asking the panelists questions. Thanks.
All right, thanks, Allie. So I'm super excited to dive into this topic because we're talking about technology and tools and solutions that everybody uses to automate things, to save time, to optimize their teams and programs, which is something that's near and dear to my heart. So, and we have a great set of panelists here that come with all different types of experience from all different types of programs. So it should be a great discussion. Where we're going to start is with a topic on basically the ecosystems that different programs are using, because we really want to understand what is the portfolio of tools and technologies that programs are utilizing. So every program utilizes, a wide variety of different tools and systems and integrations to enable their program. And it's oftentimes based on the size of their program, the objectives that they have, even their industry. So we're going to start with Bonnie and ask the simple question, what systems and applications are you using to run your program?
Great, thanks, Alex. Just to give you some context about Dell Technologies, the executive briefing program, we have 10 centers around the globe, and we have an extensive field briefing program. So if a customer can't come to one of our brick and mortar centers, we're able to take that briefing experience to them wherever they are. We host about 3,000 plus briefings in a year. We have a discussion leader bureau that includes 2,600 people from around the globe, all volunteer Army. We have probably over 40,000 sales makers. We have about 80 people on staff. We have our offerings would include in-person, virtual, hybrid, so all of that. And we have a tiered briefing program that we support different levels with different amounts of resources. And so pretty extensive size program. We really leverage VisitOps to pretty much run the business. So we use VisitOps, which is a briefing tool that we share with the Customer Solutions Center here at Dell Technologies. And VisitOps sits on Salesforce. And so the nice thing about that is VisitOps will pull information from Salesforce relative to the account and the account teams. So we use VisitOps to schedule our visits. We use it to assign rooms. We use it to assign our briefing consultants, our briefing coordinators. We have information that's included in there, reason for the visit. We have all the account detail in there that gets pulled from Salesforce. It includes the agenda builder. We use it to send the invitations. We align all of our discussion leaders. Those 2,600 discussion leaders are aligned to the official topics in the tool. It shows discussion leader availability. And all of the detailed information about our discussion leaders, which is critical, is all within VisitOps. So we really, it's the plan of record, and we pretty much run our briefing business on this tool. And it's an enormous time saver if you leverage the tool to its full functionality. We also, for our CMS to run, the digital content throughout, right now we're using AppSpace, and we picked AppSpace years ago because that's what was getting leveraged across Dell Technologies. AppSpace does not integrate with VisitOps. And so we're making a move and we're making a shift to Nexus for our CMS system because that will integrate with VisitOps, and that's a time saver. So now it's a manual intervention from our team to push formatted content out from our brand teams across our centers. So by having a Nexus as our CMS system, it will be more automated. It will be a much higher level of customization. And we'll also look to deploy the Nexus room warmers and the door monitors. And again, time saver because it's pulling it from VisitOps. So our team doesn't need to worry about all of the customization. It's an automatic. So if you look at our journey, right, so we have digital content in the main lobbies being managed. It will be managed through the Nexus system in the rooms, outside the rooms. And so we're trying to up level our experience with Nexus. We're also relative to hybrid and virtual. That's one of the things you asked us to touch upon. So in the centers right now, we're going through a massive upgrade. So our 10 centers around the globe, we're looking to upgrade rooms within each center to be more hybrid capable, right? So there are I know a lot of companies are thinking about this, but right now we're going through that exercise. In the meantime, we've created these things called field hybrid kits, which include cameras and laptops and microphones. And so if we have a field briefing, we're sending these kits in a big Pelican case, and those get shipped to the field so they can have a more elegant and up-leveled hybrid experience. In the short term, until we upgrade our centers and the rooms in our centers, we're leveraging these field kits in our centers to just have a better, more elegant hybrid experience. We are building 2 new centers. And in these new centers, we really want to push the boundaries of hybrid even more. One is opening in London in September, and then one in Massachusetts in next fall. But here we're really trying to push the boundaries, and video and digital content will be a really large part of all of it. The other apps we're using that is a time saver for us is a DrawLoop. DrawLoop is an app that sits on top of VisitOps, and we use that to format our final briefing packets. We have 2 versions of a final briefing packet: internal use for our discussion leaders with more detailed internal information they need, and then the customer-facing one. DrawLoop eliminates the need for the briefing consultants to format. There are no typos. It's much more professional. We also leverage Power BI extensively for creating dashboards, and it's kind of a self-service for our stakeholders. We use SharePoint we have an internal website. It's one-stop shopping. Anything any one of the internal employees need or to know about executive briefing program is found in SharePoint. Yep. So, and then the next thing, we've got a number of new things coming in the future that we'll be looking to integrate and partner with good people like our friends at Nexus.
Thank you so much, Bonnie. So yeah, quite an ecosystem there and lots of technologies that you're leveraging, but it sounds like you guys have done a good job integrating a lot of things with your core scheduling tool. So that's great. So let's move on to Lisa. So Lisa, same question to you. What systems, applications are you using? What makes up your ecosystem to manage and deploy engagements?
Okay. Yeah, thanks. So we primarily just have one physical space, and that's our briefing center in Hartford, Connecticut. And then we have a large virtual briefing program, which has gotten much bigger over the past few years, and now getting more into hybrid meetings as some people are returning to office and others are still participating remotely. I would say for us, Nexus BriefingEdge is our one source, our one sole system that we use to organize us for everything that we do. I know that I myself have it open every single day, and I know my teammates do too. And we use the monthly calendar feature to keep track of what meetings we have going on. We also note our own staff PTO in there, as well as other little notes to each other, because we have a scheduler on our team, Val, who does an amazing job of intaking all the meeting requests, looking across everything we have going on, and then assigning the meetings to our small meeting team to support report it. Every meeting has 2 staff members assigned to it, an experienced lead who does all like the meeting planning, formerly known as a briefing manager, and a creative lead, because on our own team, I have graphic designers and creative people who do custom invitations and other things. So that all kind of come together to create this unique meeting experience for each of our meetings, because we are doing a much smaller number of meetings. So we tend to deep dive into each meeting and make them unique and custom and really all about the customer. I often tell the story, like when LL Bean comes in, we like pop up the tents and, bring out the hiking boots and put them all around our center so that we're really showcasing the customer's brand. And everything is driven through BriefingEdge and emails that were received to book a meeting come in that way, or they can use the hosts portal to book a meeting. And then Val will receive all of these in our inbox and help work with each sales team member who is our host to create that meeting and then assign the briefing team. And then we're getting going on the planning process. So any of our digital screens in Hartford are all kind of self-sufficient. We basically use a lot of movies, MP4 files. We have one looping video that runs across 3 screens, and that is run by a Bright Sign player. So, but again, it's really just an MP4 file that's showcasing the latest in the Aetna or CVS Health brand. And we've been evolving from Aetna to be more brand inclusive, to be CVS Health as well.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Lisa. And let's move on to our final panelist here, Crystal. So Crystal, would you mind giving us a little bit of info on your ecosystem, the tools and solutions that you're using currently?
Yeah, absolutely, Alex. So in terms of our tech stack, our briefing collateral is accessible company-wide via SharePoint. The briefing requests are received via Salesforce. We don't currently have any overlaying apps or tools in place for scheduling, and we do not currently employ BriefingEdge, although I am interested. Our project management tools and tasks are tracked through Workfront program. Our expenses are recorded in NetSuite. Briefings are scheduled old school by me in Outlook. And our most recent up level and our most exciting is our launch of the Nexus client portal. We've deployed that for our last 3 client briefings, and just the experience so far has been an improvement for just ensuring that seamless experience from the original communication to briefing day to post-briefing follow-ups with surveys and things like that. So we're really excited to expand and continue to grow from there.
That's great. Thanks, Crystal. So I think before we move on to our next topic, I think we're going to do a quick check to make sure that everybody's still awake out there and hasn't snoozed off. I think Allie's going to pull up a quick poll or two to get some information from the broader audience here on a couple of topics.
We'll launch the first question. I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to participate. So basically, does your program use specialty software for briefing scheduling management outside of your standard company's calendaring offerings? So I'll give it a few minutes, like maybe a minute or 2. We're getting some responses here. For now, yes is predominantly the higher one. Give it about another 30 seconds. More answers are trickling in. Okay, so I'm going to end the poll here and I'm going to show you guys the results. So it looks like about 79% are using some sort of specialty software for their briefing scheduling management, and about 21% are not. Perfect. Okay, and then I'm gonna go ahead and ask a question number 2 that we just, now that we have it on here. Okay. So what is your most valuable feature in your technology system, ecosystem, or integration? So we have a few that you can answer here. And if you're not using any of the following, please feel free to put it in the chat feature so we know what you're doing in addition to these.
And that's tough that that's a single select there.
So right now it looks like the majority is doing scheduling and calendaring. And then second, it looks like it's demo experiences and CRM integrations. And then with a little trickle of on-site digital experience and analytics and reporting. So we're not seeing any customer feedback or customer portal applications at the moment. So I'll give it another 10 more seconds and then I will just display this so you guys can all see what everyone's doing. Okay, you guys all see this hopefully. So 63% are using scheduling and calendaring, 13% CRM integration, 4% for both on-site digital experience and analytics and reporting, and then 13% demo experiences, and then other. Let's see if anybody put in the chat feature the others that they are doing. I don't see anything. So if you did put other, we'd love to hear what you're using. That'd be great. Okay, so. All right, well, thank you guys for interacting with us. I'll give it back to Alex so he can start with the second question.
Yeah, thanks everybody. That's great to see what everybody finds most valuable. I know that was a tough one to just pick one out of that list there. So the next thing we're going to move on to is I assume a favorite topic of a lot of people in the briefing industry, which is time-saving tips and favorite features or ways that people are kind of optimizing or creating efficiencies. So Bonnie, we'll start with you again, and if you could kind of give us an idea of what are some of your favorite time-saving systems or features or processes that you feel have helped your program.
Sure. We all love time saving, don't we? So, as I just mentioned, relative to VisitOps, which is our briefing tool, I really believe if you use it to the full functionality, you're saving time. If you leverage the functionality that is in there, you are saving time. There's no doubt. Also looking when we deploy the Nexus CMS system, that's going to be a time savings. As I mentioned, right now it's manual intervention. So to have a system that's automated, it's dynamic. We make a change in VisitOps relative to the agenda or their customer. It's auto pushing the updated information out, and that will go across all 10 centers, right, without a huge lift there. And I think be much more professional and customized. I love the customized part of it. So that will for sure be a time saver for us. We also use tools like Power BI and the dashboards. And so it's kind of a self-service there. And we leverage that extensively for the metrics that we're sharing with our stakeholders. We also seem to leverage smart sheets a lot. So things like onboarding our new discussion leaders, our feedback and surveys, we're just leveraging that tool quite a bit, and it's pretty powerful, and it is a time saver. As I mentioned, we also use the app Draw Loop, which sits on top of Salesforce, and that we use to format our final briefing packets. And so if you're doing 3,000 plus briefings a year, that's multiplied, right? That's a lot of time saved for our briefing consultants, not having to format and play around in Word with getting the documents to look right. We also work with a third-party vendor to help us with our annual discussion leader cleanse. And so with 2,600 people in there, they are able to do massive record updates for us. So we need to keep their records clean, because if you're going to go call on someone, right, you don't want to waste the briefing consultant's time and reaching out to people that aren't aligned to a topic or left the company, or right. So you've got to keep those records nice and clean. So we do leverage an outside vendor to help us with that. Another thing that we did, and we have found this to be a time saver for enabling groups of people. So enabling newly onboarded discussion leaders or our facilitators or our virtual moderators. allowing a bunch of people to attend something all together. So we created these things called observation rooms. And an observation room is kind of the shadow room where participants can observe a briefing without really being seen or heard in the briefing. We always do it with approval from the account teams and approval from the customer, but they're able to actually observe and watch a briefing. They can have their own chats and internal conversation, and the people in the actual executive briefing will never see or hear them. So that has allowed us to have more shadowing of a briefing and help really enable our internal stakeholders that help support briefings. So we've used that extensively, especially during the pandemic. We use that a lot. So those are the things that are top of mind in terms of where we're trying to save as much time as possible.
That's great, Bonnie. And the interesting one that I didn't know you were going to mention, but the housekeeping and keeping your speakers organized and know what their topics of expertise are. It's a super interesting one that I think is probably very valuable, because it takes some effort and time to do that, but the amount of time that it saves you in the long run is probably phenomenal.
Yeah, it's really a tremendous, we're fortunate we're able to outsource that, because it would be a time sink for our team.
Yeah, that's very cool. Okay. All right. Moving on to Lisa, do you want to give us some information on some time-saving tips or your favorite ways to kind of optimize things for your program?
Yeah, definitely. I think, and one of the things I didn't mention before is that our digital signage in the space are also automated from Nexus BriefingEdge. So the welcome sign, which welcomes the customers that are in, as well as the outside of our room signs, which is connected to the agenda in BriefingEdge. So it goes through the day and lets people know what's happening in that meeting space. So that definitely, helps save time and keeps our team from having to figure out and type all that in manually for each meeting, especially since we have multiple meetings in a day sometimes. As I mentioned before, since we're not a tech company, we have custom built a lot of our BriefingEdge to meet our needs. We are always in touch saying, can we do this? Can we do that? So that it's like really tailored so that we can input all of our information into it. So to have everything at our fingertips. So all the logistics, even what creative we're working on, what experiential components might be part of it. If we're going out in the community as part of our larger team, we keep all of that information in BriefingEdge. And I always say good information in equals good information out. So the more we put in and the better we are at detailing all of it in BriefingEdge, allows us to do better reporting. And we're constantly being asked for reporting. We do reports on an ongoing basis, and then we might just get a question from a senior leader or someone out in the markets as to the meetings we've supported or the amount of revenue that we've influenced or things like that. So we are we're always leading with reporting in mind so that we can be showing the value of our program ongoing. Another interesting and really important time saver for our program is that we use dedicated technical staff, or what we call a producer or a technology manager, for all of our meetings. There's one assigned to every meeting. They're not on our team. They're actually an outside vendor who works for the overall enterprise, but we have 3 or 4 of them that are dedicated to just our experiential solutions customer center meetings, whether they be in person or virtual. And they work hand in hand with the meeting team. They're assigned closer to the date. They're often on our prep calls or things like that. And their job is really to take the pressure off of the meeting host so that they can focus on their customers. So they sit in the room at a special desk we have designed for them, or they're on the virtual meeting as an alternate host, and they have, they often run the slides. They'll run videos if we're showing videos, any polling or things like that. They'll handle all that if we're recording it, if we're downloading questions after. They take care of all of that. So it really allows the host to focus on their customer and their content, and allows our meeting team to be on the call to kick it off and then to drop off if it's a virtual meeting, or step out of the meeting room and go on to planning other things, because they know that the meeting's in good hands, and we're constantly on Teams or text message with the tech producers to make sure that everything is running smoothly in the room or in the virtual room. And actually, during the pandemic, we started adding in another really big time saver. It's actually a big time saver as you get to meeting day. And that's what we call our working session or prep session. And it's a lot easier to do a working session in the virtual world rather than waiting for everybody to get on site if everyone's traveling in for a meeting. And the working sessions is with the technology person, our staff, and the meeting team subject matter experts. And it's been a huge help to just iron out all logistics and, all the content ahead of time. If we're doing a hybrid, make sure we can figure out, what's on the screen, what's in person, are the microphones working, all of that stuff, and just iron it out, and gives everybody that peace of mind. So that's a huge time saver when we get to actual meeting day, that we've already ironed all of this out, whether it be in person or virtual. We've taken to doing virtual working sessions or prep sessions, even if it is an in-person meeting, because again, you get that chance to do it. It's why didn't we think of this before? But now that we're all on virtual meetings all the time, it makes much more sense. So, again, we use the BriefingEdge calendar as our one-stop shop for managing everything. That's a huge time saver for us. So we're not going back and forth between multiple systems to figure out, where we are with capacity or staffing, and we know what we have in the pipeline, as well as what we've accomplished this year so far. And even the confirmation emails that we use out of BriefingEdge are customized depending on the different type of briefing that we're having. And we've included things like links to catering, links to security, any other information that the hosts need to know to get everything organized, so that it's easy for them and saves time in the planning calls and going over those things. And also on meeting day, that it makes it much more smooth, that they know where to park and they know how to get in, and we're there to meet them and all of that. So there's a lot of things we do because of being a small team. We've tried to find many different ways to save time and make everything efficient. So that we can balance our workload and to do that deep dive into each customer to really make each experience unique and memorable for the customer.
That's fantastic. Thank you, Lisa. So, and one of the things I just want to highlight, which you had mentioned a few times, is the idea that having everything kind of in one central location, whether it's a central scheduling tool or whether it's able to integrate with all different things, is kind of the primary time saver, because you're not having to jump between different platforms and you're not having to replicate data or other things like that. It's kind of a central source of truth in all actions. So that's a great point.
Yeah, game changer for sure.
Wonderful. All right, and so we'll move on to our last panelist here, Crystal, with the same question. Crystal, do you want to give us some tips and things that you're doing to save time and to create efficiencies at the program at Optiv there?
Yes, absolutely. But I just wanted to say that I couldn't agree more with what Lisa was just sharing about the working sessions. For planning the engagements, our team had the same experience pre-2020. All of the briefings were planned with just one pre-brief call of all of our subject matter experts with the account team and the EBC team all together. And that call is slated for 50 minutes, and it was constantly going over to, an hour and a half. And so we introduced these 25-minute working sessions that we call them as well, with the account team and each subject matter expert per agenda topic, to go all the way into the weeds of what they want the objectives and messaging and goals to be. And that has improved our process so much. So I couldn't help but piggyback on top of Lisa's share there, just on the internal planning side. But on the external experience side, and just circling back to our newest technology that I just mentioned with the Nexus client portal, Alessandra has a couple of slides to share. But within that program, we built out a custom tab feature called Travel Logistics. And that's where the clients can access individualized lodging, transportation, dining, catering details for their entire briefing experience. And this is a pretty major up level for us as well. So prior to this tool, we were simply emailing the details directly to the client from our briefing center alias in Outlook. Just specifically for those guests that are traveling. And now, we can integrate this to our virtual program and have different details, highlighted for what those experiences are going to be. And the last thing, which isn't shared on this slide here, but what is another window for us having access to this Nexus portal are the Kpis and metrics, which are always a constant call by leadership. And what we are able to do is see, how the clients were navigating the portal, what pages they were accessing, if they downloaded or engaged with our briefing presentation, if they emailed it to themselves, if they downloaded it, et cetera. And so that's really exciting for us when we've never had a window into those behaviors before. And we're really excited to see, the data that builds and grows from there.
Thank you so much, Crystal. And that's honestly such a great point, which is the idea of how the impressions, what a customer is actually viewing and downloading and emailing to themselves or to colleagues. Right. It can help you focus your time and energy on the things that actually matter and the things that they're actually paying attention to within the portal, to kind of optimize your efforts. So that's a great point there. Yeah. All right. So we're going to move on to our last topic here, which is probably the most fun topic to talk about, which is the future. And it's where we get to dream just a little bit about things that can, be and things to come in our industry here. So Bonnie, we'll start with you again. And the question is, what systems and features or integrations, automation, do you see that could potentially help the industry in the coming 2 to 3 years?
Yeah, so I think for a very short term, realistic dream that will come true will be for us to launch the Nexus customer portal. We're also looking to roll out a 3D platform. So when customers can't physically visit us in one of our centers, they'll enter through a virtual lobby. So at least it'll have the Dell brand and you'll kind of get the feel for Dell Technologies, and we'll showcase products there. So they could enter in this virtual lobby, as well as we're working on a proprietary product to really enhance the hybrid experience. So the realistic short-term dream is for all of those to integrate. So to have a seamless experience for our customers where they can enter, engage with us before the briefing through the customer portal. And then as part of their actual day of briefing, they'll be able to, enter the virtual lobby, have all the information through the portal, and all of this being potentially integrating with this proprietary product that it's in development right now. So that's a very we feel that that's doable for us. Other things that I would love to see happen, and this goes back years in a conversation with Dave Rogers at Microsoft, and then I've had a subsequent conversation with Diane Lubinsky of Visit Ops, right? Well, that's part of Nexus now, but it's this concept called discussion leader auto fulfillment. And so when you think about the amount of times our briefing consultants spend trying to source discussion leaders for the agenda, it's an enormous lift. They send invitations, they wait, they don't get a response, they send another invitation, they wait, and it delays the process, and it's a time suck for them. The concept of the discussion leader auto fulfillment is the tool based on you filling an agenda. Now you have the discussion leaders aligned to topics. The tool will auto send invitations based on whatever criteria you put in there. You can, figure out what the criteria is for your business, and it would auto send the invitations. And then the tool would, at a certain cadence, if there's no response, either send another as a reminder or go to the next set of people. And it would do this until it actually gets a yes from the discussion leader. And then, then it's formalized and they're baked into the agenda. To me, and I do think that's doable, and I've talked to Diane about this, but that would be a great feature that I would love to see come to life. The other thing is we've all been talking about hybrid for the last couple of years and wanting a better hybrid solution. And it's, The dream is to make it more elegant, more dynamic, more compelling, and more interesting. So everyone's talking about democratizing the experience now for years, right? And I too thought that way and still think that way, but I think there's a little shift. I attended this workshop at the ABPM conference given by Joe Whitesides of AVI-SPL. And he kind of painted this picture and he said, so imagine you're in a play, you're watching a play. And as you're watching the play, there's the stage, the background never changes, the props never change, the lighting doesn't change, the costumes never change. It's this static, stagnant, one field, and that's boring, right? And so that made me shift how I think about it a little bit. You know, companies are striving to have inclusivity and democratization, but maybe, just maybe, we want our executives and our discussion leaders who are the best in what they do shining. Maybe we want them to be the star of the show, right? Maybe we want it to be more interesting and have their stories be so compelling because it isn't just the same field for everybody, that we do want to showcase and highlight them, but do it in a dynamic and a fluid and an easy way. So I guess that made me shift my thinking a little bit. And so what a dream would be is to have that production value, that broadcast kind of capability, but not make it complex, make it easy. So have all of that quality and the production dynamic, and you're really showcasing and shining a light on those industry experts in a simple way. I would say if I had to give you one dream, that would be it, that we could do that without having to have TV production folks on staff to enable us to do that.
Well, I love that, Bonnie. And it's kind of a new take on the hybrid approach and the virtual approach. And I assume that when you guys solve it at Dell, you're going to come to an up-level engagement and demo that for everybody, right?
We're going to up-level it. Yes, we will.
Perfect.
We want that up-leveled experience, Alex.
I love that idea. That's a great new approach to hybrid, and hopefully it is coming in the near future to the industry. All right, let's move on to Lisa. So Lisa, what kind of system features, integrations, automations do you think that could really help the industry, impact the industry in the coming years?
Yeah, this is a really good question. I think, you know, we're always kind of looking for different ways to simplify, make it easier, streamline, and automate as much as possible. So I think, you know, we know there's features of BriefingEdge that we don't take advantage of yet. So I think that's something. And now with Nexus, you know, the integrated warmer slides that you know, are industry specific and then customer specific. Like right now, our staff is making those on a meeting by meeting basis, but it would be great to have that all be, you know, integrated and automated, and still be as custom as we want it to be for our program. And then, you know, again, like I mentioned, we have just BriefingEdge as our one-stop shop. So, you know, continuing to find ways to integrate all the components of our program or a program into one system. You know, we do all of our custom invitations. Sometimes we're in the Aetna brand, sometimes we're in the CVS Health brand, sometimes we're in one of our partner brands. And so, you know, is there a way to have, you know, multiple templates in one place instead of doing a lot of, you know, manual change outs, a lot of imagery adjustments to accommodate all the brands. We also use a system called Cvent to manage registrations, RSVPs. It's very important to our sales teams to know who's coming and did they show up, did they open our emails, et cetera. So right now, we don't take advantage of that being part of BriefingEdge. So, you know, that's something that, you know, we could do in the future and have the attendees, registrants, attendees all in one place. So I think that for us, I mean, is really the kind of where we're looking to go. Just have everything kind of integrated in one place, but still able to be customized and to be, you know, creative when we need to be for, you know, for our different meeting experiences.
Oh, that's great. Thanks, Lisa. So yeah, the idea of bringing everything in and consolidating it into one place and having access to all the different tools and capabilities in a single location. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's, uh,
And maybe a hologram, like maybe I could just hologram myself into this.
I was going to say, it's
Hartford,
dangerous
whenever-
to say that, yeah,
Right?
that's coming down the road, but of course, yeah, the tools all continue to expand and grow and what they can do and their reaches. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see where those end up in the coming years. All right, Crystal, on to you. So features, integrations, automations, things that you would like to see in the industry, things that you think could impact the industry in the coming years.
Oh gosh, I thought there were so many great ideas that just came ahead.
Tough act to follow.
So I would definitely be interested, oh my gosh, in a subject matter expert scheduling tool that Bonnie just mentioned. If Nexus wants to go ahead and create that, that would be amazing.
I've got notes. I've got notes.
I also appreciated the share of, these sort of theatrical enhancements to the briefing experience. I think that's all of our North Stars, is to grow that experience into just the most exceptional thing that it can be and customize it specifically for those clients and get into that depth and have that experience be so rich. So when I think about challenges of the future, solving that hybrid experience really is, our sort of primal challenge, immediate challenge, I would say. The virtual was sort of simple. Everyone's on the same platform. We're all here together in the same space. But when it goes into, well, now you're going to be in the client's office and I don't know what their briefing room looks like. And I don't know if they have an IT person on staff. And I don't know what internet connections they use and what's their speed. And can we share presentations? Can they have live video with sound through their WebEx or Zoom platform? Solving those challenges specifically, I would say, is still at the forefront of our minds. And I always look forward to these types of panels to share the experiences that we all have. So, thank you for helping me solve those together.
Yeah, thank you, Crystal. Yeah, and I know it's probably on everybody's mind, which is virtual and hybrid. It's something that, everybody was kind of hit with at a very rapid pace, and everybody's trying to solve it in all different ways. So it's great to hear these ideas and where people think that it's going to go in the future. And it's exciting to see where these things end up. So yeah, thank you, everybody. And with that, I'm going to kick it back to Alessandra to wrap us up here.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Thanks, Alex. You're a great co-host. I know this was your first UPLEVEL webinar with us, so we really appreciate you being here. We were lucky to have you. Obviously, your expertise and your knowledge very much shows. So thank you. And then obviously, Crystal, Lisa, and Bonnie, thank you so much for being here. We know you guys are super busy, and we appreciate the time that you guys have taken to just inform our, UPLEVEL community about what's going on in the industry. So obviously, your vast knowledge really shows, and we hope that everybody watching today learned a lot, since I did. I know I did. So we're hoping you guys did as well. And to all of the people who watched today, we hope you did gain some insight and you learn from these thought leaders. So thank you, everybody, for being here. We appreciate it. And I did want to just mention that we are going to be having a few more webinars throughout the year. As you can see here, we have actually another one at the end of August. We're kind of piling up 2 in this month. So these are going to be the topics, but the August one will be on the I don't know what just happened. We'll be on the 25th of August. So in a few short weeks here, and then one going forward for the rest of the month. So thank you for being here. Be on the lookout through LinkedIn. You'll see the registration links, and then we'll also be sending everybody emails with those as well. So thank you for being here. We appreciate it. And we hope to see you guys soon.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Appreciate it.